Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Coney, and we are back for another special episode of Erin on Education. And we have Dr. Joyce McNeal here. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice seeing you again.
Nice seeing you. I'm glad that
Yes.
you could come today. So,
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you do in the community.
I do several things in the community. I started out 14 years ago, creating a program, an economic program that would help move low-income parents from welfare to work. And it seemed to be at that particular time that Flint had a difficult in moving moms from welfare to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I had passion for that for the simple fact that I was concerned when you take the head of the household out of the household, we always have a tendency to create laws of unintended consequences.
Mm.
And I was concerned that if we take a single mom out of the household and that mother has not been self-sufficient education-wise, we're going to create a redundancy of illiteracy. And I was concerned that the African American community would decline in their learning capacity because now we are kind of taking the mom out, and that child would be going into a institution, which was considered as daycare. And if that daycare does not provide the necessity and take that role of that mother and ensuring that that child is educated, not babysit. And so I created Abundance of Love Child Development Center.
And you ran that for a number of years.
14 years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I became an expert in that field for the simple fact I left General Motors Design Center and decide what if a mom could put a kid in a place, be self-secure about that kid. I think she could get herself further down the road, where in my particular case, I was a welfare mom. I was on, but I struggled with getting that education because during that era that I was in, we didn't have those programs that protect child. You didn't have a good, safe place to leave your kid. So during that time, my children got abused where I was leaving them at. And so it kept me in poverty longer because people don't understand that I didn't want to be in poverty, but at the same time I had a higher concern, and that was the welfare and safety of my kids. So I decided that what if I could create a program 24/7. You can leave your kids safely with me. And I also created a program where you could go to work and go to school at the same time. It was a pilot program when I started out. Could I actually work with that mom? But here's the catch. I had to build a relationship with the community where you can trust me with your kid and educate your kid. 3 full-course hot meal, peanut butter and jelly was a snack, and at the same time offer an education program and an after-school at-risk program for those at-risk youth, because we don't understand that when kids go home and they don't have a role model, the young unsupervised teenagers become their role models. So I created an after-school at-risk program. And it was very successful because when the kids come, my kids always stayed with me until age 12. I very seldom did I have kids to leave. So I started them off in about 1 year of age. I had really expert working with me. So, and I did an experiment, and it really works. If I hired different ethnic groups to work, such as one was, she spoke Arabic, and one spoke...
she spoke Arabic, you said? Oh, wow.
And one could speak Spanish. If I kept them in the toddler room, in the infant room, I noticed that the kids began to speak their language. And
That's
so then, oh yeah, it was very interesting. And then I began to create, how do you get a child to potty train? So I got very creative. If you want to go into a level 1, a level 2, you have to be potty trained.
Mm-hmm.
So then I began to teach Spanish and doing computer labs and different things like that. So by the time that I was preparing kids for school.
Mm-hmm.
So when my children left me, and they could go straight to kindergarten
Okay.
with their basic needs.
That's excellent.
You know, they could read, they could write. They knew the fundamental colors. They knew that classroom time, you sit in a seat, and so they understood that. They understood the importance of eating your meals, eating your vegetables, and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I advocate is that, and would love to train individual. It's no longer
To
about
teach other people how to do the same methods you've been doing, right?
yes, and then
Yeah.
and building that relationship with that mom. So then what I did with the mom, I said, okay, listen, I need you to go back to school. What if a lot of time I kept the kids while the mom was in school and did not charge because they could not afford to pay for it. So my center was designed only if you was working or going to school. You couldn't drop your kids off if you were partying. And so I had it set
Right.
up that particular way. And I'm saying all of that, I have watched young moms with 4 and 5 kids get their master's degrees and and really get educated. Then I also began to hire the mother to come in. Okay, I'm going to keep your kids, but I'm going to hire you to help me train your kids and raise your kids. So
Right.
then they get the whole concept of learning.
Right.
And I train them to be leaders, and I train them to be in supervisor position. So no matter if I'm not there, anybody not there, you can step right back up and become a leader. So that's what the purpose of Abundance of Love,
Okay.
as well as transportation and
In 14 long years and successful years, you did that.
14 long years from taking care of special need kids. And when I was taking in kids, special needs is really different when a child cannot do anything for themselves. And then you have to have a facility to accommodate that. And that was a learning experience as well, because I'm constantly have to train my staff and myself.
Right. So
And-
tell me about this. I'm excited to hear about what you're doing now with the Education Center, because I know you're very passionate about it. I can hear it in your
Oh,
voice.
yes. Yeah. And so from that passion, I ended up getting a master in public administration, and I began to do a lot of different research. And one of the problems, what was hindering Flint? What was really hindering the population? How did our children get to the point where their literacy rate was down? It was just very low. So I did the research, and I found out that one of the problems in inner city communities is the lack of technology.
Technology. And we had this discussion. Technology is very important. And I know you have a project you want to get up and going.
Yes.
I don't know if you care to share about that.
Oh yeah,
because-
it's out there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what you're trying to do with getting technology into the community?
So what Round 2 education does is that it's more than just having access to technology. It's being able to use technology to become self-sufficient. And if you notice, so what I try to do is bring self-sufficient programs that's already out here in the universe and bring them and put them in a one-stop place called Community Technology Center.
Yes.
And the Community Technology Center is a one-stop place where you can take a hub house, you can take a house, and everything you need is in one place. So we have literacy program for adults and children. We have financial, and all this stuff is on the internet.
Okay.
And we also show parents and show people how the power of the internet. You know, let's face it, the millennials in the entrepreneurial world. And I don't like seeing the young people. I love Flint, so
Yes.
and I love Flint, and
Yes,
because
we are
I
Flint
see,
natives.
yeah, I love Flint. So and so many opportunities that I think that our young individual is not connected where they can grow the way that they want to grow and expand. It is because they don't understand the importance of staying connected.
Right.
So my goal also is to show you that, okay, we can get you internet. You can have, I prefer broadband access to the internet, but it have to become an addiction for you to keep it on.
Right.
Because there's so much power in it.
There is.
And if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want your kid to exceed everything that your kid needs, when I teach in the classroom, your child can you can go home and pull all of that up in the different softwares and different avenues we have. And you can say, well, hey, I need you to go to Study Island.
Yeah.
And I need you to go, and Study Island is going to tell you where that child is at. And then you should be able to, my whole goal is to even use Skype, make Skype more user-friendly between classroom and parents, because what I found out is that a lot of time parents do not really have to get off of work. If we kind of use what we have, Skype would be an excellent tool.
Yes.
So I can Skype in. I can Skype into a community technology center, and I can go into your computer from my house.
Sounds like you know how to hack into computers.
Oh yeah, so I can go into the computer from your house, and then I can it's just like I'm sitting next to you, and I'm moving around all on your computer, and I can do it from Israel, and I can teach computer skills from my house, and that's kind of comfortable with when a mom or cannot get out of the house. So if I utilize that, and that's okay, I can go into your computer and I'm looking at you and I'm saying, okay, this is where Tony need to be, and I'm gonna show you how to click this on. And I'm not in your house, I'm just talking to you from using the computer.
And do you have experience with doing that now, though, like within your educational facility?
Yes.
And showing people how to do that?
Yeah, in my facility, what I'm trying to do now is I'm getting ready to launch it where I have a location, because even with my program is a umbrella. So I'm going to be working with the females coming in from prison, a reentry program.
Okay.
And so we're going to be using technology to train and teach them. Technology is also to bridge the gap between the parents, teacher, and the child. There's a big gap between parents and teachers. Parents do not trust teachers.
Right.
But I think using technology can bridge that gap. Yes. If we use it properly. So I've been doing the pilot program, doing the study, walking around and into the school system, seeing how the school is set up.
So in these upcoming months for the fall, are you going to continue to do this and go?
Well, this coming fall, what I'm trying to do is go ahead and have a location that I'm going to use as a pilot program. What I'm also looking at is then, okay, I'm going to need a building.
Or I know you were talking about the bus.
Oh, the bus is my passion. Yeah.
I love that concept.
Yes.
I don't know if you can just talk about that concept for us.
So the goal is that I have to come up with a fundraiser. And where you hear me talking about, well, I got to go get a house, I got to go get this, and I got to go this. I can do this all from an IT bus. And the IT bus is a bus with about 20 or 30 laptops on it. And they got the screen and everything on it, a video screen. We can do video games. And I can pull up into any community from Saginaw or Benton Harbor, anywhere. And I can fire up that bus. And I can put 20 kids with their mom on that bus. And we can teach literacy, and we can make learning fun.
Yes.
Make learning fun again.
Yes, I love that. Make learning fun again.
Yeah. See, even when I come into my daycare, learning is fun. And you have to be very creative. When I walk into a school and I see a classroom and everybody's at 36%, and I get so many accolades, and they be trying to scratch their head, well, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Because I make learning fun. And then I have the kids to play a little game. We play games, and I go, hey, what is our pledge for today? punctuation and grammar are our friends, and they wants to play with us. I said, so let's go play with them. And I said, so that's what we need him. I need him to, he need to come over here. So you have to make it very fun and creative, because our kids are ahead of us. They're smarter than the parents. And so we got to catch up with them.
And make sure that they're staying engaged.
And they're staying engaged.
Yep.
So I can walk in to a classroom and 11th and 12th graders, and they're on a 6th or 7th grade reading level. And I go, wow, what am I going to do? I'm going to make it fun.
Right. That's good.
And I go, well, can't teach you Spanish because you can't read. So, but we're going to make this fun. Let's study culture. Let's do some presentation. And I'm going to get you on PowerPoint.
Right.
And then I'm going to bring guests in, and you're going to tell us about Spain. You're going to tell us about Puerto Rico. And then they begin to start to doing research. And then I say, hey, take your cell phone. Take your cell phones out. Put them on the desk. I'm tired of you sneaking on them.
Right.
And so you have to be real creative.
Right.
I'm going to give you 20 questions.
And and they'll use their phones. And it's funny you mentioned that, because in pharmacy school, I mean, I'm 25 years old. We're adults, but we still have to use things to engage us to learn. So my teachers will say, hey, take out your phone. We're going to have a quiz on your phone. So I'm glad you're incorporating that, because, I mean, you kind of have to work with society. You have to work with what we have.
So when I give an exam, I go, here's your exam. And take your phone.
Exam.
Yeah. Here's your exam. Take your phone. And
I'll get my phone out.
Yeah, and I need you. And here's the thing I give them. You have to test everything. So you have to find that answer 3 places, and then you have to give me the reference where you found that answer 3 places at. So by that time, they're learning. Right. They're researching. They're being engaged with technology in a more positive way. Right. I had a couple of kids love to play games, so they learned to play games. So I had them to do the research on Uno, backgammon, like Monopoly. But they were surprised what they found. Then I said, and I want you to find me an African American that created a card game. And it just blew their mind away. And then they final consists of all the answers.
Oh, yes. They have to remember everything they research, and it's cumulative.
Who find it, where did it come from, and all of that. Then you had to put together a research paper. So you have to take, what will happen is that the fear of not being able to read disappear. And another spirit comes in that embrace it, and they really thought they could not read. It's just what are you giving them to read. Right. And when you find out what it is that I'm giving you to read, and I'm allowing you to tell me what it is, and I'm taking it away from this, I can close that book. I go, okay, I know what the lesson's going to be today, but let me go find a game.
I love that. I'm glad that you're interactive. Because, I mean, there are teachers that are interactive like you, but not everybody knows how to teach.
Yeah, they don't. And so I kind of study the community. So if I'm in a community like Flint, and I know what community you're coming from, so I know how to teach you.
Right. And I love that you brought culture in too.
Yeah, because you have to bring culture in.
You have to think about the demographic you're working with. Yeah. You can't teach everyone the same.
Right. So if I'm going out to Grand Blanc, which is totally different cultural, I don't have to do all of that. Because the stability is there. They come eager to learn. They're not dealing with, wow, mom didn't get off until 11 or 12. Yeah. She's not going to get here to class until 10 o'clock. So, and I know what kids is going to walk in at 9 and 10, so I'm not going to mark you absent because it's not your fault. But at the same time, I'm constantly engaging with them all the time. I say, okay, if you get kicked out for 3 days, this is what I need you to do.
Still make them work.
And I need you to text me.
Yes.
And I need you to, and so I communicate with them. Hey, text me.
Yeah.
Or where you at? Tell me where you want to do. And then I begin to teach from that level. So when I use that type of creativity in the classroom, it's putting everybody on the same level field. And then I said, you can work that math problem. No, math is hard. No, it's not. pull out your cell phone, type that formula in there, and they go, wow.
We're like, oh, I can actually do this.
And I can actually do that. I said, now I want you to go to Educare, that's some type of software, and I want you to pull up your quiz, and you just do it until you get all those right. So now they're all engaged. Even some of the parents will call me and say, oh, thank you. I had parents last year, they were just sending me checks.
Oh, wow.
And I had never gotten that before. They were just sending me checks.
Oh.
And they would put it in a, thank you.
Oh, that's great.
I had parents, just give me gift certificate because thank you for being the parent for my child in the classroom.
Right.
Why I couldn't be the parent. So I have a way of creating stuff. I develop a relationship. I develop respect first. So that's what round 2 is about. It's about bringing that whole community and parents together from a cultural perspective. Okay, and I deal with this teaching from a cultural perspective. Everything is not for everybody. There's no such thing that kids can't read, but we have to realize we have to teach them according to the culture.
Right. And I'm wondering about these colors on this page.
Oh.
It looks so engaging. So can you explain? I know you were talking
This is
about...
my fun thing. This is for youth, that our youth is dealing with a lot of peer pressure. They even question their gender at a very young age, which they shouldn't even be on that subject.
Right.
And so what I created is challenges for success for youth. And so I looked up some words, and then I held each one of the youth to explain me what is the challenge for you. What you said, knowledge. So then
you have knowledge here. Okay.
So you can call them all out, and we put them out there on the PowerPoint, and we began to have engagement. So what am I doing right here? I'm opening up the doors for trust. I'm opening up the door for communication. I'm allowing the individual to find themselves and explain to me. And I sit back, and somebody goes up, and I let them take over the PowerPoint presentation. If you flip over
so you have this blown up on a PowerPoint, like a huge screen, and they're able to go through this. So I wish our viewers could see this better, but
yeah. And if you flip through the pages and stuff, just flip. Was one page I want that I found out. So they began to talk about. Really, it was interesting. So these are the cartoons that the law association go. What do you mean by law association? Who do you associate
law
with?
Law association.
Yeah. So then they go, well, what do you mean by that? Who are you associating with?
I like that.
And that's going to determine.
Friends dictate your future. And this will determine, go ahead.
Your success, where you're going. And then they begin to look at this one. Then they begin to communicate and go, you're right, I have somebody, then they'll share stories with me. And I have what you call a roadmap to recovery. And then I also have it's a big, long chart.
Wow.
And I ask, tell me which one of you have done these things. And they're called aggressive to progressive behavior. And where are you at in your behavior? So, and they go to this chart, and I done done this before. So I done had 10-year-olds to tell me that they done what I would call more progressive behavior for 16 and 17 years old. I have 10-year-olds to leave from aggressive to progressive. And that gives me a lot of how I'm going to have to deal with this kid when I'm in the classroom.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, this kid had been exposed to a lot. So, and then I do the one about the seating chart.
Yeah, you can show us.
The seating chart is very cool. We talk about law of friendship because...
this is great. And I love how it's visual.
Yeah. And
it's simple. It's not, too much... Kids can follow along with what you're trying to do, the exercises.
Now, kids love that.
Exercise to find each sitting position.
How you sit determines a lot about you. When you come in, I watch how you sit. That's going to let me know what my day is going to be like.
So tell me, like, how we're sitting right now, or how I'm sitting.
Okay.
What's something,
when we are sitting,
yeah,
we're sitting straight, backs up, confident. We're not like this.
Right.
We're not doing this. We're not like this. or sometimes kids will sit like this and they have the hump in their back. I don't like to see that hump in that back.
And a lot of people do that and they don't realize it.
Yeah, and so and the feet is not flat on the floor, or if a young lady, especially girls, if they got their feet cocked up in the chair. Then I discuss that sitting,
Right. And they become more aware of how,
Yeah. And I go, ladies, do not sit like that. You're telling me a lot about yourself. And when I began we talk about defining how you sit. Are you prepared to learn? Are you confident? Or sometimes I can determine when they sit in how to approach them. If the person seems to be head down, kind of, I'm very careful of how I call that person out.
Right.
Because then I go, wow, there's a self-esteem problem going here.
I like that you address that. You not only address the education mentally, but you address the physicalities of everything. Because a lot of teachers don't do that. They don't
have the time. They think they don't have the time, but I implement it in my schedule. Like, okay, I got to get this done. And so I go and I observe my students very quick. It don't take me but 5 or 10 seconds to watch how you're sitting.
You have to be observant too as a teacher sometimes, and you're very observant.
Yeah, I'm very observant. I know who's going to give me a hard day when they walk in. I go, okay, all right. So,
how am I going to work with this student?
Yeah, so this is what I'm have you to do. You're going to be my Erin person all day. I'm going to work you until you get tired, and that way you do not distract me from learning. And once you use that creativity with kids, and then the parents come in, because they're going to go home and tell their parents about this lady, and the parents come in and they'll sit and they'll watch me, and the young man wanted to get out of my class, and his dad go, oh, no. I like her.
Wow.
Because learning is fun.
Yes, learning is fun. That's what we're going to take away from this.
Yeah, learning is fun.
And I want to go on more and more. And I think we're running out of time.
Oh, okay. I hate that.
But it's okay because, we're going to come visit you at this center. And wait, tell us really quick the address, if you could.
Well, right now, we don't have a stable address. It's going to be, right, we're going to be probably starting up on Bristol Road. And the Bristol Road is over there by the Latina restaurant. Okay. That's where we're going to be coming in. We're going to have senior days on Wednesday. I'll be teaching seniors how to use the internet, how to secure their documents.
That's exciting.
One of the things I want to use the Technology Center is to educate Flint that we are in a recovery.
Okay.
And we didn't talk about that, but to use it to build Flint up, and you have to use technology and make it a part of your recovery.
Governor
our Snyder's going to be bringing internet to the whole state of Michigan, and I hope it make it accessible.
It will, and if not, you're gonna get in there and make it happen.
Oh yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you though. I'm sorry. Okay. I want to ask you because I want to know what your education was like in college. I know you take it very seriously. So tell me about a time where you shined with great effulgence, if you could, just like a couple seconds.
Well, I do so many things. When I was in college at CMU University, doing my cohort program for my master in public administration, we was in Italy. We're studying the research on the Keystone Pipeline.
Okay.
And remember, one of the things that we was working with a variety of other students from other universities and other leaders from other countries, because this was a very serious research. It wasn't like something you just go in and play with, because as we know, Keystone Pipeline exists today.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I think I stood out the most was I was able to get between the language barrier with just my instinct of observing people.
And that goes back to the body language.
Yeah. And so I was able to maneuver around in Italy and to get the project done and get beyond the language barrier and the cultural barrier just by studying. And then you can almost study a person, know what to approach them with.
Right.
Yeah. And you can almost know what is ethical and unethical just by studying them. And I was able to get my project done. And then got a compliment that how did you was able to be in that type of environment.
Right.
And be able to embrace that environment, to see your views and be able to communicate with that environment. And it was just a wonderful experiment for me, because I said, okay, I'm going to have to pull something else out. And then from that whole thing, that whole group became more cohesive.
Right.
You know, because they noticed then I'm respecting their culture and their lack of understanding. And then I admitted my weakness. You know, and I said, I can't speak your language, but I'm trying to understand your body.
Right. You can't speak the language orally, but you can speak the body language.
And that's what public administration is about. You know, looking into an audience and saying who is capable of doing something. Same thing with Flint. Who's capable of recovering and who's not able to recover.
Wow. Well, thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. I'm so happy that you shared, because you're someone to reckon with. You're someone to talk to, and you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge that I'm sure your kids look up to you for that. So I appreciate you coming in today.
Well, you know, kids don't listen to parents, so.
But they should.
But they
will.
Should,
They'll appreciate it later.
Yes.
So, but thank you so much, everyone. This has been Dr. Joyce McNeal here talking to me, and this is Erin on Education. We'll see you next time.